something in my hair. Hey, y'all. I hope they're not trying to cancel me, Lavon. Hey, Helena. Hey, Little Rock. Hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Happy Merry Christmas Eve. Hopefully everybody is doing good. And I'm going to give people just a few minutes to come on in the room. Let's see. Thank you, Lavon. All right, there we go. All right, y'all. We on and popping. Lavon, it doesn't feel like that to me either. It's just, but you know what? Maybe because, I haven't really done any shopping. Like, I haven't just been out and about. And I'm pretty much like cooped up in the house lately. So I think that's probably why that feels like that to me. Hey, DJ Moss. But I assume that people they have just been out and about and shopping and all that stuff would feel a little bit more, I don't know. And then it could be the weather here too, because I swear, like where I'm at, it was like 64 degrees today, like super crazy, but nice. I'm not complaining. Y'all can see right now I got on short sleeves and I actually had the ceiling fan on. But hey, Donovan. Hey, Edward. Thank you, Edward. But yeah, I'm like, oh my God, y'all, it's about to be 2020. Time is just flying like crazy, man. Time is flying like crazy. I'm 50 freaking subscribers from 9,000. Can I get 50 people in a week? 50 subscribers. That should be so easy. I know y'all can help me. Hey, Derek. Derek said, what's good, Rhonda? I'm in LA, so Christmas is weird out here for me. Why is it weird? But, yeah, like this year has went by super fast. We're going into 2020. I reached some of my goals this year. But I have a lot of stuff that I want to do going into 2020 that I've already started on. As far as like my fitness goals, okay, by spring break, your girl gonna be ready. Even though I'm not doing anything special for spring break, so I don't know why I use that as some type of designation. But I have fitness goals. Y'all know my goals for my platform. I want to do more content. I told y'all a little bit about how I want to do like a regular call-in show. So I'm going to be working on that. I have some merchandise ideas that I want to do. Get my Patreon on and popping. Don't make goals, make milestones. I know, right? But let me see. Those are like my biggest things that I want to focus on. And then just a little other stuff here and there. Like I want to get better at salsa dancing. I want to take better care of my hair going into next year. I want to, what else? I'm going to do a lot more shooting, like training and stuff going into next year. Just a lot of little stuff like this. So hopefully y'all are getting your goals together. Excited about 2020. God is good. We made it this far, okay? A lot of people. See, let me testify real quick up in here. But a lot of people did not make it this far. I had friends, classmates, friends of the family who passed this year, just untimely deaths and, so one more day is always a good thing. Yes, thank you, Snake. Snake said, Merry Christmas, Rhonda. Let's get you those 50 more subs. I know, so please share. They said, because I grew up on the East Coast, no snow, and it's cold in Cali. We rarely ever get snow here, like maybe every couple years where it just actually sticks. We may get like frost or something here and there, but yeah, so but it feels really good. We can wear like just a light jacket around this time or whatever. But what are y'all doing for the holidays? I am, y'all know, I always tell y'all, like, every time people can be off or get together or eat or whatever the case may be, like, I'm gonna kick it with my family. So tomorrow we're going to my grandma's house. And we're gonna eat and stuff, hang out. Yeah, my family is so cheesy. They're so cheesy. Oh my God, they're so cheesy. I love them. I love them to death, but they are cheesy. So tomorrow we have to do this thing where all the families, okay, now my grandma and granddad had 9 kids. All of those 9 kids had kids, have kids. So this is like a big family I'm talking, okay? And so each individual family tomorrow has to come dressed as like something really crazy and creative and festive, right? And I don't even know who the judges are going to be. Probably my grandma. And whoever wins gets like bragging rights for a year and some other stuff we supposed to do tomorrow. I don't know. But super freaking cheesy. I may or may not post pictures. Y'all gonna be like, dang, they got RhondaMary out here like that. So we'll see. But LaVon said, I'm just getting my eat on and chill. Then I'm going to Boston. Helena said, I prepped a bacon wrapped deer roast. That's interesting, Helena. I'm trying to think, have I had deer meat before? Yes, I have. I think I had it once. It was like really spicy. I wasn't crazy about it. I think it was like deer sausage or something one time. I don't know. I might have to try it again or something. I don't know. But hopefully y'all are planning to do some fun stuff. This can be a really hard time of year for people who have lost loved ones. So y'all make sure y'all reach out to people. If your family is doing something, don't hesitate to invite people that you know from your church, your community, your school, whatever, that just may not have that support system and need to get out of the house, and just need to feel some type of connection or community or something. But Last Dragon said, I can't eat deer meat. Helena said, no sausage. I get the gamey taste out. LOL. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try deer again one day, but we'll see. But all right, y'all. So let me give a shout out to everybody who has become a patron over at Patreon. Thank y'all so much. I am posting exclusive content over there, and I'm definitely going to be posting way more content over there going into 2020. Shout out to Valdez, my VIP patron. Thank you very much, Valdez. I don't think he's in here yet or whatever, but definitely shout out to him and everybody that supports me. Apostolic Clothing said, roasting a turkey and making Chinese egg tarts. Very strange combination. I've never heard of Chinese egg tarts, but it definitely sounds interesting. Happy holidays, Pilu. Thank you. LaVon said, I got a question. Can I pay in full for the whole year on Patreon? I think there is an option for that. I think so. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but I can check into it. Hey, Michael Ray, thank you. I can check into it though. And y'all, I did add a $2 option over there because some of y'all were asking me, about a lower point. So you can definitely, and I think, honestly, I think it's customizable, actually. I think you can, pick how much you want to donate. I don't even think, I have to go in there and set it up for different tiers, but I think you can still just donate whatever you want to or whatever. So kind of keep that in mind. But okay, Levon said, is there a yearly, you can pay up front? I'll check into that. But all right, y'all, shout out to everybody that's coming in the room. So, Trump was impeached. I noticed that last week. Congress has taken up the holiday break, right? So they got to do this. It's so funny, right? They got to put on this whole production right before the holidays and be like, peace, we out. We'll see y'all after New Year's. Which is super funny to me. I watched some of the highlights and some of that and some of the the media talking about it and things like this. But y'all know I wasn't feeling the whole theatrics thing. But so supposedly Nancy Pelosi is not going to pass the documents over to the Senate. Let's take a look at this real quick by Vox, because I want to talk about this a little bit and just kind of what could possibly go on going into 2020. Okay. So this is according to Vox. Pelosi says she won't send impeachment articles to the Senate just yet. The speaker says she wants to know more about what the process will look like in the Senate. After overseeing the votes to impeach President Trump Wednesday night, Speaker Nancy Pelosi has a few next steps to take, naming impeachment managers to make her case in the Senate and transmitting the approved articles of impeachment to the upper chamber, except Pelosi announced at a press conference after the vote she's not going to do either of those things just yet. Voicing concern about Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's willingness to hold a fair trial, Pelosi announced for the first time that she might not, in fact, be in a rush to send the articles of impeachment over to the Senate. She said instead she wanted to hear more about how the Senate plans to conduct the trial first. We cannot name managers until we see what the process is on the Senate side, Pelosi said. Impeachment managers are members of the House who will serve essentially as prosecutors against Trump in the Senate trial. And to be clear, Pelosi technically can name them now. She is making a strategic decision not to do it yet. The move is an apparent adoption of an unusual strategy backed by Harvard law professor Lawrence Tribe in a recent Washington Post op-ed that Democrats should impeach Trump but hold back on sending the articles to the Senate to avoid a hasty acquittal or dismissal of the charges engineered by McConnell. So it just goes on to talk about this. This is at Vox.com, and I'll actually drop the link later. But first of all, so Nancy Pelosi has questions about how the Senate would conduct the trial. Okay, cool. I think that's fair. But didn't you know this before you brought this man up on impeachment? Did you not know this? Did you not know there was a Republican Senate majority before you brought this to the House? Did you not know that? And to my understanding, y'all let me know if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, she never has to turn the documents over to the Senate. So to me, we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. But I'm in the frame of mind, if Nancy Pelosi does not turn over the documents to the Senate, at this point, I'm like, you playing games. And it is right now, I would say it's 92% evident that these people are playing games. They're full of BS. They are wasting our time and the taxpayer money. I would say I'm 92% certain of that. If this lady does not turn over these documents, I would say I'm 105% sure of that. For the simple fact that you knew before bringing this up to the House that the Senate was Republican led. So in my mind, this just gives, if they never turn the documents over to the Senate, it gives them 100% bragging rights. It gives them all of the opportunity to talk about in the future history books and all this, how Trump was impeached without doing the actual work, bringing this up to the Senate and going through this hearing. That's the work. And I told y'all from the beginning, right? Because honestly, I didn't believe this was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to get to this point, but it did. We're here. I'm surprised. I'm shocked, but so be it. We're here, okay? Initially, I didn't think we were going to get to this point, but my initial thinking was that, dang, I really just lost my thought. Sorry, y'all. What was I about to say? Oh. My initial thought was, y'all know I said in a video talking about impeachment, I said that these people do not care about right and wrong. They do not care about ending corruption. They do not care about holding people accountable. It is really about my team against your team. My team against your team. That's what this has become. That's what this is. If Nancy Pelosi does not turn over these documents to the Senate, that is further proof of that, because it will prove that they are not actually trying to remove Trump. They are not trying to take the steps to say, dude, you're so corrupted. We got to get you the heck out of here. They literally just want bragging rights to be like going into 2020 and use it as some type of like measuring stick for voters. Like, oh, we got Trump impeached. That was one of our accomplishments going into 2020, even though we've been signing all the freaking bills that he wants. We haven't been challenging him on anything. This impeachment is the only way we challenged him. But hey, we did that. Like, make it make sense. And I just knew that, man. I knew that. And they also know that if you take this to the Senate, then the Senate has the possibility of calling all these different people in to testify, like Joe Biden, like Hunter Biden. Then things are going to really, really get ugly. And I think that's what Nancy Pelosi is really thinking about. Like, how is this really going to go? Will this hearing not favor us? Will the trash on both sides start coming out? And then the American people can really weigh what's going on here? So now I'm wondering, like, was this the plan all along or what? Because to me, in the event that she doesn't turn over the documents to the Senate. That's very freaking strategic. You gotta admit, it's very strategic because you get to have all the bragging rights of impeachment without doing the actual work, which is to do removal. You think like Trump is so corrupt, yet you don't take the steps to remove him? How does that make sense in anybody's mind if you're truly after him because of corruption? If that's what it's truly about. Like, and I'm not even talking about all the ins and outs of it. I'm literally just talking about from a common sense perspective of walk it like you talk it. Like, I mean, it's just that simple. So if this is not evident to everybody at this point that this is just a big game, this is just big theatrics, and these are the same people that tell us they don't have money to do this and do that, and they can't pass this legislation, like this stuff I'm finna talk to y'all right now with these cell phones. Y'all can't do nothing. Y'all somehow y'all cannot manage to spend the money to protect our privacy. But you have all the money in the world to do this foolishness, just these games that have no distinct end that's going to mean anything for us sitting at home. So I know it's just a lot of, it's just a lot. It's just a lot going on. And I'm also like really tired of like the, this team against that team. Like I don't give a crap who it is. I'm calling it out. Like if I'm not rocking with it, I'm not rocking with it. I don't care who signs it, whose name is on it, what type of letter, RD or whatever else you got behind your name. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just like I was talking about this spending bill or whatever. And I don't know what the Jesus person is putting in here, Helena, because I'm not really looking. But unless the person is like a major, like saying just nasty stuff, then just let them talk. Don't time them out unless they're just saying really, really like just cussing crazy or just something like that. But otherwise, just let them talk. Just let it rock. But anyway, so like I was looking at this whole spending bill, right? And like, okay, cool, bam. I believe in safety. I rock with that. I think everybody wants to be safe, right? Hey Cajun. Hey, that guy from Texas. But like people just need to call out BS way more. You know what I'm saying? The fact that people just glazed over the Afghan report that came out and people barely talked about it. Nobody really covered it. If they did, it was freaking brief. And everybody just moves on like it's no big deal. And you have all this money lost, lives lost. The government just freaking lies to our face. And then they come on TV, 18 years later? Oh, well, we lied to y'all, but we'll try to do better next time. What? And all of them are behind it across the freaking board. It's just crazy. It makes no sense. And then, hey, O'Shea Lennox. And then you have the doggone pushing the tobacco up to 21. And I'm like, really? Really? Like, that's the biggest of our worries right now, really. First of all, I guarantee y'all, number one, I guarantee you, if I sat there and did the research on tobacco users, young tobacco users now, compared to like the 90s, I just happen to have this gut feeling that the numbers have declined. That's number one. Number two, when I like we are forever in this state of feeling like the government is people's parents and they're not what they were freaking put there for. Like, and I don't know. I feel like if Obama did that or was with that, people would be going crazy about it. People be trashing him. But I guess because it's conservatives and they're like, oh, I support Trump. And 18-year-olds shouldn't be smoking. Why is that your decision to make? You have 18-year-olds, and I'm probably as anti-smoking, anti-tobacco you can be. But literally, you have 18-year-olds going into freaking war. You have 18-year-olds, that's when they first going into jobs and trades and skills and going into college and all these other things. It's like, is that the biggest of our worries right now? And I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe somebody can educate me in the comments, but I'm not exactly sure why these bills are packaged like this. I think this is just me guessing, but I think the bills are packaged like this where they just throw all these things in and sign off on them is so politicians get away with a lot of crap, and we just sit there like, oh well, it was other stuff in the bill, and so he had to sign it because it was other stuff in the bill that we needed. Like, that stuff needs to be on its own merit. Those are my thoughts. I think they're getting over on us. I think they're getting over on us with that. Because even if I think about the crime bill, right? And how Bernie always says, oh, well, I signed the crime bill because there was something in there about protecting women. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something in there about protecting women and blah, 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 women's rights or something. That gives them an excuse to sign horrible bills because it's like, oh, I knew the 8 other things in here were trash, but these 2 things I supported. So, hey, I signed it. And then 10 years later, you get to say, oh, well, I signed it because of this, then the other. So that's why I'm saying, man, like, I don't care who team you on, where you stand, which side of the line you on, because a lot of it is a facade anyway. I mean, whether we really gonna keep it real or not. But at the end of the day, we have to freaking oppose stuff that just doesn't make sense and it's not their job to do. And then the stuff we need them to do, they don't freaking do. Like, I just don't get it. Exactly. Elijah said it's just to soften us up for something else. And your old man can go to war. If you're old enough to go to war, you should be old enough to smoke and drink. Like, that's my thinking. And what you said about softening us up is right, because people will be like, oh, people will try to make excuses for it, but then y'all will be the same people that's mad because they banning freaking straws in California. It's the same excuse. They think it's healthier for you. They think it's better for you. They think it's safer for you. And so they make these decisions on your behalf. And I'm like, but it's the same line of logic. Some people might say, oh, well, smoking causes cancer. Okay. And then you got people in California saying straws pollute the earth. I mean, so it's like where do you draw the line? And I feel like the more people get used to this and make excuses for it, the further they can go. Like you literally, I'm gonna show y'all this in a minute, but you literally got a lady saying she think calling people a freaking nerd should be a hate crime. Like, at what point is it not the government decision to I mean, come on now. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. The more I learn, I just cannot rock with certain stuff because I see the implications and kind of like where it's all leading to. But thank you, the writer. Creepy Joe Biden said they want us all enslaved. Absolutely. I can't find the writer. I don't know why your thing is not showing up on my screen. Maybe because you didn't write anything in a box. Let me see. That's weird. Okay, next time, the writer, thank you though, but make sure you like put a smiley face or a thumbs up or something in the box because it's not showing up on my screen. Apostolic Clothing says, so true, control wrapped in freedom. Exactly. They will, and then it's so crazy. Like the manipulation is so heavy because then you have the people to start to think, oh, we need them to do this. We need them to do that. No, there can be independent campaigns that's literally talk about, hey, smoking is bad. That's what happened in the freaking 90s going into the 2000s. You had all these independent organizations and nonprofit organizations and all these groups, and the smoking, like teenage smoking and stuff like that, heavily declined. And so I think we have to get to this point where we realize as a society that the government a lot of times honestly creates problems. They freaking create more problems than they solve. I mean, if we just look and think about some of these policies and how they've impacted us, and I don't know when people are just going to realize that. But I'm like, it's crazy. But yep, the DARE program. I think, you know, I mean, it's American culture. You're always gonna have like drugs and this and the other, but you know, you can kind of see a cultural shift with how smoking used to just be really like, you just don't, you see it now, you see smokers, but you just don't see it as much anymore. Like, think about it. Do y'all remember the big change from when you remember you used to go to public restaurants and they used to have a smoking area? Do y'all remember that? Like, the kids now will never know. Like, you used to have a whole area in a restaurant, like in the back of the restaurant, there would be the smoking area, even in hotels. And I don't know if all hotels still offer this. I know some of them do, but I think even a lot of hotels have gotten away from that. They used to have smoking rooms and non-smoking rooms. So there was a cultural shift and a lot of nonprofit agencies that were doing the work. And we need more of that. Yep, Levon said you can't smoke in bars now. And so I don't recall that being due to some type of new legislation that came out. I could be wrong. That was like years ago, but just overall the way people were talking about smoking is people learn more about it and how it was causing cancer and all these different things. People just kind of started moving away. People really just started moving away from that or whatever. But that's crazy. And I'm like, we're in the information age. So if people don't know at this point what the heck tobacco products do to you, they don't want to know. That's another thing too. Like, so at some point we just have to admit that if an 18-year-old, like, we're walking around with freaking computers in our hands all day long. If you don't want to know at this point what tobacco does to you, you don't want to know. It's just that simple. And we have to admit that. We have to stop thinking we're the savior of people. Like, you can help people, you can try to influence them, but it's not, some type of like control thing. So thank you, the writer. The writer said, Rhonda, have you thought of running for public office? You are politically smart, have common sense, and have an online following that can translate into a constituent base. The writer, y'all have been asking me this for a while. Y'all are not gonna like my answer, what I'm about to say. But I think that politics is so infiltrated with shady people that go into it for the wrong reasons. And it's so heavily influenced by money that I'm not sure it's something I would want to be involved in. I really like talking to people on a very personal, individual level, having influence with them. I really believe, I always talk about like how important like mentorship is and things like that. It's actually something I want to do maybe like in the next few years when I decide like where I'm really gonna settle down here, hopefully in the next year. So sorry. And I know which city I'm gonna be in. I want to maybe do some stuff like on a mentorship level because I really enjoy like working with the youth, because I think sometimes a lot of times other people are kind of set in their ways and stuff like that. I just don't know if like politics is like my thing as far as like being an actual politician. I don't know. I feel like trying to be a good guy in politics is like trying to be like a good guy as a police officer. Like, I think you can be a good person, but as far as actually impacting the freaking structure system, I don't see it. I mean, look at what's happening now. Just what we see on a national level. So I don't know. Michael said, Rhonda, run for school board first, then think about it. See, I've been and got mad and snapped on people at the school board meeting because I'll be mad about what they teaching the kids and oh man, and all kind of stuff. Lavon said, don't be employed or involved in a system, it will taint you. That's kind of a little bit of my mindset too, because I don't know, man. You see people going in like they really want to change stuff and they really want to do stuff, and then they get in there and it's like, what the heck? So I don't know, y'all. I got some other stuff that I'm working on and some other goals and stuff like that. So we'll see. Helena said local elections matter more, and she's absolutely right. And it is something we kind of need to talk about more. But also, like, in a lot of these areas, you don't have a lot of these areas are so heavily saturated with the same type of people and the same type of ideas. You know what I mean? And I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why. I don't know if people just don't be ready for something new, or if the way it's packaged, maybe the same ideas sound really new to them. I don't know, but we'll see, y'all. Whatever I decide to do, I'll keep y'all posted. But yeah, Elijah said politics will rip you apart. Keep your heart pure. These people are worse than gangsters. I can absolutely believe it. And I'm very I'm very I actually try to be do the right person, be about what you believe, principle over money and stuff like that. And politics is a crazy game, man. It's a crazy game. And when I say game, I literally mean it. Oh, Shaylin said, Rhonda, you'll have more of an impact on people by doing something like mentoring. Absolutely. But yeah, they're definitely a gang. They stick together. Democrats and Republicans is like Crips versus the Bloods. Oh man. All right, y'all. So I don't know if y'all saw my video from the other day. Make sure y'all check that out if y'all didn't. Amazon is working on these new shopping carts. I think they already piloted in a couple of their stores, maybe 3 or 4 of their stores. But they're these shopping carts that you can do everything from the shopping cart. You got cameras all in the ceiling, cameras on the cart, on the shelf. Every single time you take some and put out the cart, you slide your credit card right there and you're out the door, just like that. So and some really interesting things going on with the technology. The good thing I do foresee with that is that it would decrease theft, right? I could see that. But I don't know. It's getting crazy. And then there's this report that just came out recently. PBS did a special on it, and I was going to show y'all a little bit of it, but I started talking about some other stuff longer than I expected. But PBS did a special on, and I think this just came out yesterday, about the data that your smartphone is transmitting. And people may think, oh, it's no big deal. I'm using my location for my GPS. But what y'all don't know is that these apps that we're using are selling our information to third parties. And the thing is, by the time they get to these third parties, we don't know who these third parties are. And these third parties are not as beholden to the same level of just privacy or anything like that of what our expectations would be. So it's just a lot to think about. We always think when new stuff comes out, it looks and sounds really cool. But the more you see what these people are doing behind the the smoke screen, it's like, oh my God, it gets scary. And the funny thing about it is it's the same exact way with politics. It's the same exact way how they package and sell things to us and make it just sound really good. Like, oh, screw it. You know, we'll take care of your health care. We'll make sure you're good, you're healthy, you're strong. You can live a long time, until you start paying attention to everything else that's going on and what this could really entail on a deeper level. So it's very similar. It's very similar to what's going on with technology right now. They sell us these very shiny things, and come to find out they're slipping a rug from under our feet. They're stealing our information. They're tracking us. They're following us. They're stealing our privacy. They're making it easier to sell to us and steal our data, make these profiles about us. And, you know, I don't know. I just picture somebody in a room somewhere with like literally every ounce of like your name, your height, what you eat for breakfast every day, what your schedule is like, where your grandma's house is. I don't know, but it's just weird. So y'all be like aware of some of this stuff going into 2020. It's going to get interesting, but I think they are moving us to the point of no return, and eventually, because right now 80% of, I guess this, I don't know if this, I'm assuming, I heard him, they said 80% of adults have cell phones. I'm assuming it has to be America, but shoot, at this rate, it could be worldwide. Like 80% of adults. I could see that. But all right, y'all. So let's keep an eye on it. Like I said, if you didn't watch that video, make sure you check that out. Elijah said they want to make cigarettes illegal, but they want to make weed legal. Does anybody ever see anything wrong with this? Remember, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. All right, so real quick, I just wanted to talk about this, y'all, because I posted this the other day, yesterday, about this girl who, let me show y'all what she looks like. So I think she goes by Tyler. But this video was recommended to me, so I just watched it. And very introspective. And I'll link this below later too. But she just talks about how her transitioning was a response to childhood trauma. I believe she was raped, if I remember correctly. And she goes on to talk about in the video how she was trying to become the man that she needed to protect her, or something like that. It was very insightful, you know, as she was putting it. And I started thinking about something that I've kind of built my platform around, is the lack of the media to be balanced. the lack of the media to be fair, to discuss anomalies and nuances and things like this, particularly with the LGBT movement and transgenderism. If you go and search these videos on YouTube and you look for detransitioning videos, you will notice two things. One is that all of the news sources that mostly talk about this are like in Australia, in the UK, in wherever. You don't see a lot of American sources talking about this. The second thing is you actually see quite a few of these videos from just personal people's stories, like this young lady or whatever. And so I would definitely say just check this out later. But what I want to say about that is that I think it's sad when, and I think this is why so many people believe that an agenda is being pushed, because what happens is when you are heavily saturating the media with just one type of story, it appears to be that you're up to something, that you're trying to push something to not shed that same light on hundreds of people, that thousands across the world that are regretting their decision. And the unfortunate part about this is that, like I said, not everybody, I don't freaking know everybody. I don't know everybody's story. I'm not going to try to put words in people's mouth. I'm not going to try to act like I just know what every single person has going on. But I do know for a fact that a lot of people, a significant number of the people hiding behind these sexually fluid movements, including slut culture and all this other stuff, are directly masking their trauma. People don't want to seem to talk about how traumatic experiences can literally redirect the hard wiring of your brain. Trauma is like real. It can literally turn you into a different person. And people do not want to talk about that. I've seen, and I've told y'all, if you've been rocking with me for a while, you know this story. If you're new, you don't. But my best friend growing up, we were in, I think, like middle school, and we were just like regular kids. And all of a sudden, I mean, she was a regular girl, and she always liked basketball. I do remember that. And this was at the time I thought I could play, so I'd be out there playing with her and stuff like that, but I wasn't that good. But anyway, but all of a sudden, like, she just started dressing masculine and carrying herself like a boy and all this. And at the time, I was young. I had no freaking clue what was going on. And at this time, you know, the LGBT issues weren't as, you know, like as out there as it is now. It wasn't as normalized. So I had no freaking clue. And I'm like, I just think like she's changing or going through a phase or whatever like this. And it wasn't until much later when we actually kind of lost contact, because her mom ended up like moving her and stuff like that, I guess to get her away from the freaking uncle that was molesting her. So we kind of just lost, contact. And it wasn't until much later that I found out that she was being molested. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then like, even I've worked with so many young girls, man. And it's just, I'm talking about young. and they will be so promiscuous after being molested or going through trauma, and it's like they can't freaking turn it off, and they need help, and not judgment, not to be berated, you know what I mean, not to be told that, you know, these terrible things about themselves, but that it's okay to seek help for the trauma. And like, I'm trying to figure out, when is it going to be okay for us to have these discussions and say these things? When do we get to have these balanced conversations in the media that can save somebody's life? I mean, it's just it's just a lot going on out here, and people are really hurting. I'm not a, you know, I'm not a super judgmental person, because honestly, at the end of the day, particularly with grown people, you have to live your freaking life. This is one life. I'm not the ruler of you. I don't judge you. You don't show up to some gates and I'm standing there. That's for sure. So at the end of the day, you have to do what makes you happy. Like, that's just what that is. I fully believe in that, because ain't nobody, like, you can try to encourage me. You can tell me your thoughts, your opinions. You can give me advice. But at the end of the day, this is my life. I'm going to do what the heck I want to do. And I feel like other people should do that too. So ultimately, if a grown person decides whatever life they want to live, as long as they're not hurting children or whatever, I mean, I just don't really think it's my place to whatever. But for the people, particularly young people, because that's where my heart is, that are just struggling, feel like they don't have anybody to talk to, or whatever the case like that. Absolutely. I had a friend who I went to high school with, and he told me he wanted to start an organization to help LGBTQ youth that are like suicidal and struggling or need people to talk to or whatever. And I was like, I mean, cool. Like, I'm with it, because people actually need that, instead of just, because what I've noticed is people will say, oh, the media is just doing this. The media is just the media is, what do people say? Like, the media is using people. The media is tricking people. The media is playing people, blah, blah, blah. But then some of us fall right into it, because y'all end up doing this at each other instead of talking to each other. Like, and I think a lot of that is just what it is. And so I don't know, but I'll be happy when discussions like this at least, match or have some balance or add another layer of perspective to what's going on out here, because sometimes, and then y'all have to realize too, and I've talked about this before, a lot of these groups, right? When you go against the fray, you're attacked. You're attacked as if like, oh, you're a LGBT person that doesn't think that somebody born with a penis should use a women's restroom. You're not one of us. You're a white supremacist. You're a misogynist. You're a anti-woman. You're anti-trans. You're homophobic. Oh, okay. So now I'm a homophobic. Yeah, yes, you are. You know what I mean? So people will get mad at people for detransitioning and all this kind of stuff. So, and people just have to like keep some of this stuff in mind, man. So like, a lot of times, especially around this time of year when it gets hard for people, a lot of people just need encouragement, somebody to talk to, somebody to lean on. or whatever the case may be. So, but yep. Helena said people just want, I think it's supposed to be just want a black and white answer. It's not that simple. Our kids desire better. I agree. But yeah, so I just want to talk about this, and often I bring it up because like I've just seen how detrimental not only trauma, but then when you're being inundated with so many images from the TV, from the music, and all this, how y'all have to admit, man, the social programming is so strong, and people cannot say it is. Television programming is so freaking strong. It's strong. It's strong. It's strong. And it's even, you might think this is sexist, but it's data to back it up. It's even stronger when it comes to women because we are some of the biggest consumers. We're the biggest consumers, so we buy stuff up, we eat it up, and they advertise to us everything from freaking lifestyles to products to whatever, and it's so strong. I could think about stuff that I've watched on TV, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about or being influenced about, and I had to question myself like, dang, is that something you actually want to do, or you actually want to try, or you just seeing it on TV all the time now? So it's happened to me. Trying to think about something that's influenced me, but this stuff influenced adults like too. And that's what the media is supposed to do. That's what advertisements are supposed to do. That, like, so that actually means they're doing a good job, but it's really unfortunate for us. You know, ads are one thing if you're trying to sell a freaking burger, but then when you go to pushing actual social engineering, that's when it's like, okay, y'all doing the most now. There are literally people hired as propagandists to push social engineering, and that's when it just goes too far. But I always talk about, first of all, let's not forget about the era when the Katy Perry I Kissed a Girl song came out. Whether people want to admit it or not, you never went out to a bar, to a club, whatever, and seen so many girls kissing girls. Okay? Y'all remember. I remember that song with Trinidad James came out. He's talking about pop the Molly, I'm sweating. Pop the Molly, I'm sweating. Now you got all these people talking about they want to try Molly. I remember that. Then when Janae Aiko came out with this song talking about eating groceries, everybody and their mama, people on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, everybody talking about eating groceries like it's just a new thing. I'm like, wow, y'all really out here having these discussions like it's just like kids ain't on this app. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is up? So my point is, there's just 3 examples I can remember off the top of my head where discussions are made instantly about, just straight off the top of my head. I'm sure there's other instances I can think of where I personally know people who were thinking about trying these things or doing these things, or at the very least heavily talking about them due to the music, the TV, and everything else or whatever. Oh, and yeah, lean and all that stuff. All these kids out here doing this lean now because all the rappers walking around with it, man. It's just it's crazy. So the programming is definitely strong. But all right, y'all. So let's talk about this last thing, and then I'm gonna hop off and let y'all enjoy. I'm gonna let y'all enjoy y'all Christmas Eve. Really Cajun. Maybe it was just like the for the newer generation that was like, okay, but it's too much. Okay, let's look at these. So I want to talk about this lady who was reported for telling staff Merry Christmas. So Whitney Cummings says, this is according to a HuffPost article, says an intern reported her to HR for saying Merry Christmas. Whitney Cummings presumably won't be wishing anyone a Merry Christmas this year. During an appearance on Conan Wednesday, the comedian claimed that last year, where she was working on an unspecified television show, she uttered a single Merry Christmas and was reprimanded months later by the show's human resources department. Last year, I was working on a TV show and I got in trouble with human resources for saying Merry Christmas to an intern, Cummings told host Conan O'Brien. I was leaving like on the 18th and I was like, bye guys, Merry Christmas. Like just a formality. What would you say? She went on. I come back like June 6th. HR calls me and they're like, hey, we need to talk to you. One of the interns is pissed off that you said Merry Christmas. Although Cummings said she meant it more as a formality than anything else, O'Brien argued that in these times we're in, that could trigger someone or offend them if it's not their holiday. Cummings agreed and said that she asked HR what she could have said and said. That's why I said, well, what should I have said? Do they celebrate something else? Cummings said, and they were like, well, no, they're agnostic. And I was like, no, you do not get to do that. The former Roseanne showrunner added that had I known that this person was agnostic, that would mean we were in a relationship. Like that would mean we were intimately connected. I should not know who believes in God and who doesn't, she continued. I also can't guess either, I can't like guess your holiday based on what you look like. That's offensive. That's very offensive. Before anyone jumps to the conclusion that there's a warm Christmas, a 2017 HuffPost YouGo survey found that in terms of seasonal greetings, 55% of Americans prefer Merry Christmas, while 11% prefer Happy Holidays, and only 11% of the people said they'd be offended if they wish something other than their preferred greeting. So, the crazy thing about that, though, and the bad part about that, though, it only takes that freaking 11% to change the whole discussion. That's the only problem with that. We see that now. You always have the most radical people leading every single one of these movements. Every movement you can name of, any modern day movement, you have the radicals leading it. Louis I think that's 17 said intern has that much power to get the talent in trouble. The crazy part about it, yes, when it comes to what is socially acceptable and this and the other, absolutely. If it was something else, maybe not so much. But when it comes to this type of stuff, yes, absolutely. But so she gets in trouble. She gets reported to HR for saying Merry Christmas. Now, something about me, I worked in retail for several years. One particular place that I worked at, I would meet people from literally like all over the world. And it was pretty cool. Not like that often. I wasn't working at like the airport or anything. But, occasionally I would have these different customers like from Africa and, the UK and Australia, just different people. And so just naturally, I kind of just picked up the happy holiday thing. Just naturally. And it just kind of stuck with me, happy holidays. And then you can say it for any freaking holiday. But we've gotten to the point where everybody is offended by every freaking thing. I'm trying to imagine myself being in Mexico, living or visiting, and getting offended because somebody greets me with a Mexican holiday. And people are gonna say, "Oh, this isn't a Christian country. Isn't a Christian country. Everybody isn't Christian." I don't think you're gonna go to any country where everybody is anything. Like, let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's no country you can go on this earth that everybody is everything. So what happens is oftentimes you go to a country and you have majority. The people there are majority Muslim, majority Hindu, majority Christian, majority whatever. I would say that's usually how that works. But this whole everybody is offended by everything. Every year it gets worse and worse. Every year somebody's in the media talking about, well, every day. I can't even say every year. This just is holiday time. But we're at a point where everybody is offended by something. People constantly want people to walk on eggshells to protect their feelings, which is freaking odd. It's odd unless people are literally harassing or calling violence against you. It's odd. It's odd to want to get somebody fired because they freaking told you Merry Christmas. If somebody told me Merry something or Happy something that I didn't celebrate, I would just shrug it off and move on with my life. I don't understand why it's so deep, which tells me that, like I said, a lot of the radicals leaving these movements, they are just mad, angry people. You're mad, angry people. What gives? What are you so mad about? I don't understand it for the life of me. How do I go back? Thank you, the writer. The writer said, "We live in America. We can't let the super sensitive, anti-American, anti-Christian minority dictate what we do and say." So, Merry Christmas, Rhonda. Thank you, the writer. But Shaylin said, "I don't celebrate these holidays, so I tell people that, but that them for the sentiment. Oh, thank them for the sentiment." Right. Like, I'm actually not a super, like, I'm not a big on holidays either myself. Like, I'm really not, but I'm more so the person that just, my family is off. Oh, and then we get to eat some good soul food. Like, I'm eating, I'm hanging out, I'm chilling. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like that with it. But if somebody tells me like Merry Christmas, I'm not gonna get offended, and I'll also say it. I think it's more so a, people are always trying to change words and meanings anyway. So why not take Christmas, like somebody just said, Christmas is a pagan holiday. Why not take it for the lighthearted, what most people do, just a holiday time. So I don't know. It's just crazy. And then you got people, this lady saying, let me show y'all. This lady saying the word nerd should be a freaking hate crime. This is according to New York Post. Dr. Sonia Falk claims calling someone nerd or geek should be a hate crime. A British psychotherapist stirred up a social media squabble Thursday when she suggested on national TV that calling someone a nerd or a geek should be considered a hate crime. She appeared on Good Morning Britain alongside Bobby Siegel, a mathematician, teacher, and writer who describes himself as a proud geek. Let me show y'all Where's they had the clip on here. Oh, there we go. Let me show y'all this.
High IQ people are a minority group in society that are very much ignored, and they're not understood and are largely neglected. So it is the case that individuals with very high IQ very often are bullied at school, for example. They are a target for being bullied, often quite viciously. And I found that in my own research, as well as there's a lot of other research out there that documents this.
Again, you shouldn't bully people because they're different. But the reality is, if we're classing it as a hate crime to call someone a nerd or a Greek, I think what it does is it trivializes actual hate crimes, based on disability, race, gender. So obviously, again, as a society, we need to make sure that we're welcoming everyone. But again, the term geek and nerd, etc., generally has been embraced. If you look at technology, you look at the Mark Zuckerbergs, Bill Gates, the geeks and nerds. If you look at Matthew chapter 5, verse 5, blessed are the geek, for they shall inherit the earth.
But this lady is a doctor. And I told y'all, you get a doctor to say anything and people will jump right on board. People will jump right on board. But this is a freaking doctor, right? Saying that, basically it should be a hate crime for people to be referred to as nerds or geeks because nerds or geeks are a freaking minority group. Are you kidding me? So what about freckled faces? What about redheads? What about, oh my God, handicapped people? What about people with 11 toes? What about people with gap teeth? What about people with a crossed eye? Like, there are hundreds of thousands of minority groups of something. So do y'all see what I'm saying? It never ends. It's never ending. And who makes the rules? This is why I am adamant. I am adamant in telling people oppose hate speech laws. I don't give a crap who the heck is promoting them. Oppose. Because when you start somewhere, you start on one end, and this is where the heck it goes. It never stops because it's progressive, right? It never stops. It's never ending. Like how does your mind even go to nerd, geek, hate crime? And I notice a lot of these people, if you just pay attention to a lot of what's going on in the media, a lot of these people have seemed to carry on a lot of grade school trauma into their adult lives. Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm privileged in that regard because I got picked on. I got picked on because of stuff. I got talked about. I got whatever. And maybe I'm just trying to see what were people going through in school that you want laws to be changed from calling people geeks and nerds. Creepy Joe Biden said Office Depot has a nerd squad. Absolutely. Donovan said, what qualifies as being a nerd now? All of our hobbies like comics and other things have been hijacked by the mainstream. I remember I hid that. I liked comic books and video games growing up. And then the thing about it is I personally believe, I could be wrong, but I feel like social media has given so many like alternative type of people a platform that a lot of things that were considered nerdy or corny or whatever the case may be, I feel like a lot of people are way more open-minded to now as opposed to then, right? Because back then you can only look on TV to see the cool people. Only the mainstream media was propping up the celebrities and this and that. But now with people being able to create their own platforms and become breakout stars for doing comedy, for playing instruments, for you have all these people now that doing stuff in nature, like working with all these animals, and just a lot of like different interests, comics and cosplay and just anime and video games, and you have artists, you have all these different people now that are able to stand out and break out because of social media. So I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. We're living in a really weird time. So anytime y'all see anything about hate speech or hate crime, I don't care if it's from the freaking law to the YouTube to the Twitter. I say oppose, oppose, oppose. Be against it. Because they point over here while you thumb point back at you. How they used to say that? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, wait. Something about you pointing. Every time you point, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. Y'all know what I'm talking about? But anyway, so that's how they get you. They say, oh, we're just gonna get the people who call people geeks and call people nerds, and then the next thing you know, you done call somebody freckle face, and they like, well, shoot, that's a hate crime too. So I don't know, but from the holidays to the everything, man, these kids are gonna be the softest. This next generation is gonna be the softest group of kids you ever seen. Y'all out here giving these kids participation trophies. Like, y'all, this is gonna be the softest generation of kids y'all have ever seen. You gonna hate to see it. And it's crazy because the generation before my parents, my grandparents, these folks was getting married at 16, 17, 18, having whole families. They were leaving schools to help their parents work, and they were just doing all kind of stuff, waking up in the morning to go get the eggs from the chicken, milking the cows. I mean, all kind of stuff. Walking all kind of distances to school, fighting in wars, just all kind of stuff, man. And I'm like, I'm not super, I'm not that hardcore with it. Like, I think kids do deserve the opportunity to be kids, but at the same time, man, especially in this generation, you have to prepare your kids. The world is so dangerous out here. You have to talk to them. You have to prepare them. They need to know reasonable stuff, like how to freaking wash the dishes, how to cook some type of decent meal. They need to have some type of sense of direction. They need to know how to protect themselves. They need to know how to communicate if they feel threatened by adults or at school and stuff like this. They need to have good common sense in case something is happening and you're not around, to be able to decently keep themselves safe. They need to know how, if somebody's just talking crazy to you, is not worth it, right? Because people are crazy out here. It's not worth fighting them over some words. Now, if they try to run up on you, that's a different story. You got to be ready to protect yourself. But these kids gonna be soft, boy. They gonna be so soft. They don't want the little boys to wrestle anymore. I mean, it's just going to be a soft group of kids. And I don't know what to tell y'all. But we got to hope these kids are not babies. They're actually some of the most... It's weird because I can't really say they're like the smartest, but they have so much opportunity and so much access to information that they have the opportunity to be the smartest, if that makes sense. Like, But I think smart is kind of subjective. So it kind of depends on which way you're looking at that. But so much freaking information out here, man. And for these kids to be getting softer and just not know how to just do basic things for themselves and stuff like that, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But we're just creating a whole country of softies that are not going to be prepared for the real world. They're going to go into these jobs and not know how to. One of the best things I have learned how to do over time is how to deal with confrontation. That's one of the best skills you can learn, and you're not going to learn how to do that if you never have any and you're never called to handle anything. When you become an adult and you don't have your parents there, you don't have a teacher there, you don't have somebody there talking about hate crimes, this and that, and you're on this job or you're in traffic or wherever, you're going to have to know how to have conflict resolution. Okay. I mean, it can literally save your life. It can save your freaking life. Or it can just help you get through issues way smoother. I think about times where I've been at work and me and a person to be at odds, and it's really just a communication issue. That's literally all it was a simple, we sat down, we talked to it, and I was like, oh, that wasn't even that big of a deal. But we could have just been going back and forth crazy because neither of us never learn how to talk through anything or work through anything, or even when somebody's mad at you or picking on you, a lot of the times that stuff can be worked through because it just be surface level BS a lot of the times. But yeah, so we'll pray for the kids. Pray for the kids, y'all. Pray for the kids. My Helena said my daughter hasn't had her TV or access to my Kindle in 6 weeks. She's gonna listen, period. So one of my best friends just called me. This was like a couple of days ago, and her son just turned 8. I think he's 8. Yeah, 8. And he's going to get his first cell phone. And she was telling me how it took her, like, he's been asking for a while and it's taking her forever to, just finally be like, okay. But she said she got this phone set up so good, y'all. She said she got every single parental block you can think of. YouTube, you can't download anything. The phone shuts off after a certain time. It has GPS on it, so she can just everything. And I'm like, you have to do it. It's sad to say, but you have to do it. You have to take those measures to protect the kids and just talk to them and let them know what's going on out here. And he said, what age ranges specifically are you talking about when you say kids or the next generation? I'm literally talking about the kids, teenagers, and the ones like going into college right now. Like, I'm talking about all of them. So I guess there's Gen Z. Is that right? But it's happening. I just mean younger people in general because it's happening on a lot of levels, including the collegiate one, how these professors and stuff are really just babying and coddling these students. They're leading the charge on a lot of this stuff. So, but yeah. Hey, Kimar. But yeah, NT, if I don't, well, you'll be here. You'll be here next month. But I'm just gonna go and tell you happy early birthday, in the interim. But he said he gonna be 18. So, and this is not, obviously I don't mean all when I say this, not all, but just overall how the media is looking, what the schools are doing. I see people giving out participation trophies. I see this guy, this video that went viral on Twitter the other day, and his dad was like, he was playing all these games with his daughter, and like she closed her eyes or something, and he make it seem like she won every time. And I'm like, okay, how the heck is she gonna handle this when she loses something at school though? And she's always you're programming her to think she's always going to win. What about preparing her to handle a loss and then become competitive, get back on your feet and be like, bam, I lost, but I can do well. And I want to say this, and then I'm going to hop off. The only difference, do y'all see these kids that be like 3 and 4 and 5? They be like speaking like 6 languages, or like playing like, Mozart, or, some type of artist. Or it's these kids that I watch, and they're like, I think this little boy, he's probably like 8, 9, 10, and he's like a crazy boxer. It's 2 little girls that I saw on Instagram, and they're like athletes. They're like future gymnasts. And I notice how people always talk about how talented they are, how amazing they are. And I'm thinking, oh, y'all do know the only difference between them and any other able-bodied kid is the amount of time and resources their parents put into them. That's it. That's it. That's literally it. All these genius kids y'all call geniuses, every able-bodied child has that same capability. It's just a matter of the time and resources. If you put that energy into your child, they can be a genius kid too. You know what I mean? So that age from newborn to, I think, was like 5 or 6 is like the sponge age, where they just soak every freaking thing up. And if you are the parent and you have the resources and you have the time, and you're like, okay, I just want my child to be the next best ballerina, and you have them doing it, and you're teaching them, okay, some days you won't be good, or sometimes it'll take a little longer to learn this, and you're just on them, and you're making it fun, you're making it interesting, but you're keeping them on it, they will be amazing. It's really that simple. It's that simple, like literally. Cause my little cousin is, I think she's 3 now. She's 3, but even at, is she 3? 3, yeah, I think 3. But even at 2, like her mom already had her like saying her numbers and alphabets and stuff in Spanish, and I'm like, this is amazing. You just need to keep her going. Like, just keep it going. But Michael Ray said, Asian kids' parents expect them to perform in school and make good grades. No option. Do you know how many of these Asian kids are learning English as a second language early, and their parents shell out money like it's nothing for them to be on top of it and be a step ahead? And we have to be forward thinking, especially, man, I talk about this for the Black community, being forward thinking when it comes to setting your child up for success. And a lot of times you can, even on a small budget, you can find ways to help advance your child. You just have to do the research. You have to get out there. You have to network. But you can find people that'll work with you, that'll help you do things. Your kids can join little groups. And the crazy part about it is now you have YouTube, where you have access to every freaking thing. Everything. So you telling me your child sitting there watching YouTube, they're sitting there watching cartoons, they're sitting there watching these kids, this little boy just earned 26 million or something like that playing with toys on YouTube. You telling me your child can sit there that same amount of time and watch cartoons in Spanish? Like, that's what you're saying? You know what I mean? So a lot of this stuff is like a mindset or whatever. But yep, Helena said retired teachers love to tutor. Yep, but all right, y'all. So let me go ahead and get out of here. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy your Christmas Eve. Thank y'all for joining me again. Shout out to everybody that's super chatty. Thank you so much. Thank you to my patrons over at Patreon. Shout out to Valdez, my VIP patron. And thank y'all for supporting me. Like I said, we are like 50 subscribers away from 9,000. So if I can reach that by 2020, that would be super dope. So share. But all right, y'all. Happy holidays. And y'all have a good night. Bye.